All right, and good evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Franklin. I want to update you on the weakening severe weather threat that we are seeing across southeast Louisiana, still ongoing just up to our north and northeast, though, through the night tonight. The tornado watch that we had in effect for all of South Louisiana, parts of southwestern Mississippi, that was in effect until 8 o'clock, that was allowed to expire. So right at the top of the hour, we are no longer under a tornado watch, but still ongoing around the Hattiesburg area. So our counties in Mississippi just outside of our viewing area until 10 p.m. The environment around southeast Louisiana for tornadic storms is not really materializing like it is to our north. And really, the focus has always been a little bit more to our north and east with regards to storms that could become strong to severe. The Storm Prediction Center keeping that highlighted area really from about Hattiesburg northeast. If you remember in our earlier newscast, this highlighted area for the ongoing threat of tornadic storms did include the North Shore. This was on our level 3 threat for storms that could become severe and likely producing tornadoes that were going to be strong or long track. That focus has now really shifted a little bit more to the northeast. And I'd mentioned in earlier newscasts that even though we would likely still see the rain and some thunderstorms around through the evening and later into the night tonight, gradually that risk of tornadic activity would be decreasing. Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service office both kind of saying it doesn't look like that is going to be the case, as now instead of these rogue little storms out ahead of a line, most of these now are a little bit more linear, meaning there is not much rotation in the atmosphere that would produce tornadoes. So that is a positive. One thing that we'll have to watch for is at times these can be some heavier bands. Now they are moving. They're not going to just go stationary. If they don't, then we're in good shape. But any of these kind of excessive rain bands could produce a couple of inches of rain in a very short period of time, and that could lead to some localized flooding. Don't look like that would be a widespread concern. It may be a little bit more of a focus north of the lake than on the south shore, but that would be kind of now our focus going forward through the rest of the night and into the around midnight hour, that some of these bands may be producing some heavy rainfall. So just again through the night tonight, hang inside. Just if any of these heavy showers or thunderstorms do produce any flooding rainfall, might see some standing water in low-lying areas or in the streets. Have a particularly heavy band that is set up just to the east of Independence through Franklinton right now. Kind of a moderate to heavy band of rain that is from Gramercy kind of right along 55 up into St. Tammany Parish, and then otherwise it's been more spotty as you go a little bit more down into the Bayou region. These spottier showers are going to be approaching the metro area. Notice never really did see a solid line of storms, maybe a little bit more of a solid band on the North Shore that will continue into Mississippi, and more of a broken line across the river parishes, Bayou region, and that's what's going to be moving through the metro area. So notice the latest analysis of our tornado risk. We're very much on the low end of that scale. Still a focus though, with likely tornadic storms developing from Mississippi into Alabama. So what had been more of a springboard for these storms over the North Shore is now shifting a little bit more to the east over Mississippi, that will continue moving up toward the northeast deeper into Alabama. So that risk, even the level 3 threat of severe storms and tornadic storms, has been shifted out of southeast Louisiana. So a positive as we go forward through the rest of the night tonight. We're going to be watching it until late tonight. Really, we can take out the risk of tornadic storms, heavy rainfall, maybe some gusty winds. Just have a way to get those weather alerts if it is necessary over the next 4 or so hours. But conditions certainly improving even before the heaviest of the rainfall moves in. Again, just the environmental conditions that these storms are moving into are not really any longer conducive for producing tornadoes. But still some heavy rainfall, and notice there's still some bands of those brighter clouds showing where the intense thunderstorms are developing. That area which we had been watching for the potential of the more tornadic storms, it had been focused right over southwestern Mississippi into central Mississippi. That has now shifted a little bit more off to the east as well. So conditions for us in southeast Louisiana are improving, even though we haven't really gotten into the line of storms just yet. Certainly a much better forecast for the rest of the night tonight. We'll also start to see those temperatures coming down through the overnight as well. We're right now still 72 degrees, so not quite into the cool, dry air at Baton Rouge temperatures just yet. Starting to fall in Lafayette and in Lake Charles. So right behind the front, we should immediately start to see those temperatures coming down, and more dramatically so as we start the day on Thursday. So mostly cloudy skies to start our morning, but likely clearing out and more sunshine during the day tomorrow with very cool weather on tap. Now, beautiful weather for both Thursday and Friday, at least comfortably cool with temperatures back to where they're supposed to be in the 60s. However, very quickly, we're going to start to see a warming trend building up into Friday night going to Saturday morning. In fact, after midnight Saturday, temperatures will likely be on the increase, peaking in the 80s as we head into Saturday ahead of another system. So let's fast forward. Here is Saturday morning, 7 a.m. We've got that onshore flow, maybe an isolated shower. We've got some parades getting started. Friday parades, okay, about a 20% chance for an isolated shower. Saturday parades during the day and the evening, we'll probably have about a 30-40% chance for some showers, maybe even a few thunderstorms. Later into the night, now again, the timing is always tricky with these systems, especially as we're still beyond about 3 days. We're watching for storms that would likely be more well after 9-10 o'clock. So hopefully, as a lot of our parades are winding down. So maybe better news for the parades. The downside of that is these storms will be rolling in, and here's kind of the corridor of those strongest storms after midnight for much of southeast Louisiana. So it would be well after most folks are already going to bed. So very important to have a way to get those severe weather alerts on Saturday night going into Sunday morning, as most of those storms are going to be rolling in much later than they have been tonight. We're also going to be under a risk of severe weather. Again, it looks like the main focus will be more to our north. But as of right now, a fairly high likelihood across mainly the river parishes, metro area, North Shore, Mississippi, under a level 2 out of 5 for severe storms. That's what we have to look forward to on Saturday night, more so into early Sunday. I'm kind of going with a timing of after midnight to the pre-dawn hours of Sunday. Heavy rain, strong winds, those isolated tornadoes, again, have a way to get those weather alerts. So our forecast on the whole, not terrible for our Saturday parades. 40% chance, very warm and windy. Most of our storms are coming in during the overnight period. And then as we head into Sunday during the day, that high of 58 will actually be early in the day, dropping rapidly by the evening and night. And we're looking at a very cold stretch of weather, or at least chillier weather on the way for Sunday and into Monday. Monday morning will be in the 30s to start off the day. So we're looking at a light freeze frost North Shore. We'll even have some upper 30s south of the lake, maybe some patchy frost away from the city Monday. Lots of sunshine and a high of 56. We'll start to see a little bit of a milder day Tuesday into Wednesday with another system developing, probably bringing in another chance of rainfall with about a 60% chance for some showers on Wednesday before another drop in our temperatures mid next week.
All right, Chris, thank you. I'm standing by on the desk right now. If you have any questions for Chris, ask them right now on our Facebook page, and we'll make sure we ask him live right here as we give you this special alert, a special update rather. Chris, I did have a question. The winds are really high a little bit earlier. Is there any concern overnight for power outages? Do we see those winds picking up later?
They're not going to increase too much through the overnight period. They're going to remain brisk associated with this front. And so even as the front passes through after midnight, 1 a.m., we will still have the stronger wind. So there could be some minor power outages just based on wind. Impossible to forecast exactly what the threshold would be for some of those power lines, but definitely we'll keep the gusty winds that we've really seen all day today through the overnight. Still pretty windy to breezy during the day on Thursday, but those winds will be diminishing. Unfortunately, though, not through the overnight, which again, sometimes it doesn't take much to get some minor power outages. And that is certainly a possibility, not really from the storms per se, but the overall gusty winds. Although within some of the thunderstorms, if they do even borderline strong to severe, we might see some strong straight line winds.
Oh, they do have someone asking, what areas do you think you're most concerned about and how should we prepare?
For winds?
Yes.
The wind's really everywhere. Well, you're going to see some of those stronger storms north of the lake and moving into Mississippi. So maybe some of the stronger straight line winds in that area, North Shore and into Mississippi through the next several hours. Really, you're kind of getting on some of the strongest storms at the moment from around just now east of Franklinton. So moving toward Bogalusa, Varnado, Angie, nearing Folsom right now. You've got some gusty winds associated with these thunderstorms. But then overall, the winds have as well been been pretty gusty really all day today, looking at our wind speeds thus far. Sustained at 10 to 20 plus miles an hour, and they've been gusting up over 20 to almost 30 miles an hour in a few locations. So not quite the 50, 60 mile an hour winds, sustained, widespread. Could see some areas isolated of 50 near 60 mile an hour wind gust within some stronger thunderstorms, but overall the winds where they are right now are not going to be as strong. Although notice out in Baton Rouge the winds are down to 6 miles an hour, so right behind the front maybe it looks like the winds do initially diminish, but I've kind of had a breezy forecast through the overnight period.
Angela Jones, she's saying she's from the West Bank over in Gretna. She's asking about that tornado watch. I know that you said that it's over, it's ended.
Yes.
Any anticipation of it coming back later this evening?
No, the environmental conditions, and there are a lot of factors. That one graphic I was showing with the kind of tornado forecast with the rain moving into it. There are a lot of factors that go into that tornado product that we show, and the environmental conditions across southeast Louisiana, we're always on the low end of that scale. That has decreased even more so, even before the storms have rolled in. Again, what few passing showers we have seen across the area, that isn't even the leading edge. That is starting to move into our North Shore parishes now. But even before that leading edge has moved into the region, the environment has already weakened with regards to any tornadic development. So that does not look to be an issue through the rest of the night tonight and going into kind of the early morning hours of Thursday.
Well, Chris, this is a dramatic shift in the forecast. I feel like maybe a week or two ago we were talking about 20-degree weather and we were in the snow. It was a little chilly after that, but now we're going into the 80s, or we're in the 80s right now.
Yes.
Is this a dramatic shift, or is this normal for this time of year?
Honestly, along the Gulf Coast, you have to consider we are considered a subtropical climate. So while we can get very cold as the air masses come out of Canada or the Arctic, we still can have to contend with some very frigid temperatures. Being on the Gulf of Mexico means our temperatures tend to rebound very, very quickly. It doesn't take much of an onshore wind going from the 20s, teens, and temperatures even in some spots in the single digits just about 3 weeks ago. As soon as we start to get a wind that starts to bring back that warm Gulf air moisture, our temperatures almost immediately start to rebound. So while unusual, it's not uncommon, especially along the Gulf Coast, to see those quick ups and downs of our temperatures.
You talked about this a little bit earlier too, if you can elaborate. And Amelia Strahan spoke to parade captains, but of course parades are beginning this weekend, several of them on the North Shore. And we know the North Shore can sometimes be a target for weather like this. Should they have any concern going through this rest of this weekend?
The weekend parades, Saturday would be the concern. It's going to be all a matter of the timing of a front that'll be approaching us late into the evening and night. As of right now, we're not quite into the high resolution detail, the fine detail of our computer models. We're almost there. We'll start to get that data in tomorrow morning and throughout the day tomorrow to have a better idea of the timing of our next front on the way for this weekend. Right now, the trend has been more of for a late night, to where the parades on Saturday might still have some spotty to scattered showers around. It'll be warm, windy, and humid. Temperatures will be in the low 80s. Late in the night Saturday, probably not until after 10, 11. The way things are looking right now, we would start to get in on some of these storms. So this is kind of looking at a rough idea of 9 o'clock on Saturday night. So note the bulk of the storms, the deeper greens to yellows, are still more isolated or still more focused over the Alexandria, Lafayette, more south central, southwest Louisiana. And that's at 9 o'clock. Depending upon how late the parades go, may still have some scattered showers, but the bulk of the rain would probably still be off to our west. Now, as we go later into the night, approaching 11, those storms are getting a little closer to the Atchafalaya Basin, somewhat onto the North Shore, and then toward midnight and afterwards is when we would probably see the storms rolling into southeast Louisiana. Also note, it may be kind of a weakening line of storms, so what may be fairly intense over western and central Louisiana as they move into southeast Louisiana. Environmental conditions here usually don't favor very deep severe storms. That's why typically in southeast Louisiana we don't have widespread tornadic outbreaks, whereas just to our north, southwestern Mississippi, they do. Just being along the Gulf Coast with that maritime type environment, we just tend not to see the severe weather. So while there will be another chance of severe storms, it looks like it's going to be a little bit greater to us on the farther north during the night Saturday going into early Sunday. And really what we're looking at as far as the timing goes for the storms, I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit more of a focus during, you can kind of see here, the early morning hours Sunday at the top of your screen, the top right. We're looking at Sunday 2:30 in the morning. Does look to be a little bit more of an issue for the early morning hours Sunday. And the good news is by the time a lot of folks are waking up early Sunday, those storms will be gone with temperatures coming down. So as far as the parades go, probably okay right now from the stronger storms. I don't think we're not going to see any scattered storms. I do think we'll have some scattered showers and thunderstorms during the day on Saturday going into Saturday evening and night, with the bulk of those storms late in the night. But then again, as I said, it's kind of a double-edged sword. It avoids the parades, but it also is a little bit more of a concern for meteorologists because not everyone is paying attention to the weather. Most folks have gone to bed, so you definitely want to have that WWL app on your phone so you can get those alerts. It'll wake you up as severe storms roll in Sunday morning.
Now, of course, everyone needs to go out there, have a good time, be safe, and bring their umbrella as well.
Yeah, I would definitely have the rain gear during the day Saturday, as we'll have the passing showers.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Linda Summerall just wanted me to tell you that you're doing a great job and to have happy Mardi Gras.
Thank you, Linda.
All right, of course, we're going to check back in and get a full forecast again from Chris coming up on WWL Louisiana News at 10 o'clock. Remember, you can also download WWL Plus to your television, and it is free to watch that channel and to get all of these updates as well.